I'm here today with Helena. We're going to have a little chat about her Sustain experience. So, hello, I hope you're well. And what was your progress on Sustain, please, Helena?
So I lost 2 stone, so about 12 kilos in weight. But that wasn't really, I wouldn't say that's what I really achieved. What I achieved was feeling a hell of a lot more confident, because when I started, even though I wasn't necessarily overweight, people would probably look at me and say I didn't need to lose 2 stone, but I just felt so not ashamed, but just a little bit embarrassed of myself being a personal trainer and being a yoga teacher, that I wasn't necessarily at the top of my game. So the fact that I've lost that weight has meant that in result, I'm obviously a lot more confident. I feel a lot more proud of my body. I don't feel embarrassed to stand in front of a class and teach with everybody looking at me. But I've also gained control of my decisions. So I don't allow my emotions to control what I eat, or boredom to control what I eat. I now understand why I eat certain things, and also if they're going to get me to where I want to be, or if they're going to sort of sabotage where I am now. So yeah, I've lost 2 stone, but I've also gained a lot of freedom in my feelings, in my body, and in my confidence.
Awesome. So the next question I've got, and I'd like to I was going to tweak it a little bit. So the question is, how are you feeling before Sustain? But I'd like you just to go into, rather than the physical, more like the control element. So how are you feeling around food and in your decisions before you worked with it?
So with my decisions, so I felt completely out of control, really. I used to be anorexic, so I used to control everything that went into my mouth, from looking at menus before I went to restaurants to decide what it was I was going to have, to not eating at lunch because I know I was going out for dinner. So I used to have that control, which is when I sort of put on all the weight and got back to what is called normal. It was so much so that I had lost complete control of everything, and I couldn't really find a middle ground. So it was, I just felt completely out of control. I was eating things, and then after I'd be like, why have I just eaten that? I wasn't even hungry. I didn't need that snack before I went and taught, because I had a big lunch. I just had it because I felt like I had to have it, because I was going to do a bit of exercise. I'd eat because I was bored, or I'd drink because I was out with friends, and if I didn't drink, I'd look like the boring person. So I just felt totally out of control, and every time I tried to bring that control back in, I was questioning myself as, am I being stupid again? Am I being too restrictive? I'll loosen off a little bit, and then before you know it, you're back on that roundabout of everything's overeating, over drinking again. I just felt a little bit hopeless, really, and a little bit lost. And that, every time I brought that self-control back in, it was always, I'm going to be anorexic again, so I need to lose control. And there's this big movement at the moment of restricting is bad. So it's trying to find that happy medium. And I couldn't find it on my own at all. I couldn't find it on my own, which is why obviously I reached out to you guys.
Yeah, I think I smiled halfway through there, because I just had like a bit of a deja vu flashback when you mentioned about being boring and not drinking. So I remember us kind of digging into that a little bit and saying, I'll be able to guess what I said. It would have been something on the lines of, if one of your friends came out and they weren't drinking, would you think they were boring? And it's just kind of unpicking those thought processes that we have, and shining a different light on them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, growing up, I was always, coming from a dance background, I was always the slim girl, the fit girl, the girl who spent a lot of time in the gym. So I kind of let that define me quite a lot as a person. And then as I got through all that, it was like, oh, Helena's the one that's fun, that gets everybody drunk, that feeds everybody, that eats anything there. So my character had kind of swung that way. So I thought, if I then take the drinking, the feeding, the eating pizza, drinking beer away from me, then who am I? If I'm not this body, and I'm not this partier, then who am I? So it was a little bit sort of scary when we had to talk about those decisions and bits and bobs, but it has really, really helped.
Yeah, it's some deep stuff, isn't it? It's, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of feel it a bit now as you're talking, and it's always so satisfying to know that I'm part of that process, and that, you know, you can hear kind of the, not frustration, like I guess the word, it's pain, isn't it? Like you can hear the pain in where you were before, and it's so nice to be able to do these calls and to see the flip side and see the person on the other end kind of smiling and looking back on it now as it was just a memory rather than it being current existence.
Definitely. Yeah, I felt so trapped, and it's been really helpful for me to have you sort of question everything I've done and things that I've done wrong or things that I've done right. And it's made me actually go, actually, like, this is just a habitual thought process I've been going through for the last sort of 10 years. When I actually break this down, that's not helping. That doesn't feel good. And when I do this, that's not going to make me feel good next week. So it's really, really, really helped.
So next question then, why do you think that daily accountability works?
Because it breaks it down. I mean, as if I was to say work with somebody else and they say, right, we're going to talk to you every week, once a week or once a month, it'd be like, right, I've got to be good for a month, or I've got to be good for a week. And it doesn't happen, especially at the beginning. You mess up on day 2 or 3 and you think, oh, I'll start again next Monday. I'll write this week off because I'm not talking to my coach until next Saturday. And he won't think about that day or think about this week. So it's been to break it down day to day, to talk to you every day and say, right, I ate this yesterday. I know I shouldn't have eaten that, but I'm going to not eat that today, has been really helpful, because it's kind of got rid of that I'll start again on Monday, or I'll start again when I get back from a holiday or after Christmas. And it's just good because every day is different, and it's just good to chat about why we've made certain decisions, or why it was that I did this out of the other or thought this, because it's fresh in your mind, rather than talking on a weekly basis. You think, oh, I can't remember why I ate that. I just ate that chocolate bar because I just ate it, as opposed to, okay, I ate this chocolate bar today because I had a stressful day at work, or I had a call from somebody that I didn't really want to talk to. And that's making those little tweaks on a daily basis has been a lot better than saying, right, next week, cold turkey sort of thing.
I think one thing that I found from kind of, obviously I go through the process myself with kind of logging my food sporadically, when I need to, is that the temptation is always to look back with like certain fondness, like looking back on an old relationship and you go, I ate pretty well last week.
Yeah.
And you look at your food and you go, oh, I didn't eat pretty well. Like, what's this? 6 pints and fish and chips and whatever it may be. And suddenly when the facts are laid bare, it's much easier to then be realistic. Because, you see a lot of, just in traditional diet groups, people saying, I'm doing everything perfect and not losing weight. Well, you can't be. There has to be something somewhere's amiss, and that's where the logging is so useful.
Yeah, definitely. And sort of breaking it all down and into all the snacks and things. You don't realise how much you nibble and snack on things until you start writing it down and having to sort of discuss it with somebody else. And it's like, okay, maybe I ate 20 crisps.
I'm not as perfect as I thought, yeah. But it's a good thing, isn't it? When someone is, and as you were and have been, and I'm sure will continue to be, is when you're honest and realistic and just willing to have that introspection and to say, do you know what? Actually, maybe that wasn't the right decision, and this is what I'll do going forwards. Whereas, like you say, if we just bury our head in the sand and say start again next week, you get none of that. You get none of all the positives that come from that, and it's hard. I fully empathise with people when they don't want to send their food in or when they don't. But if you don't, it's just hiding away, isn't it? So
it is, yeah. It's not really facing the problem, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you'd worked this before as well. So what were your barriers to working with us before you signed up, either this time or before? Is there anything that stopped you signing up before?
Well, for me, I was kind of a little bit in 2 minds. Obviously, I know you guys, and you guys know me from when I was probably coming out of the anorexia, when I was sort of going into like, I must exercise for at least 5 hours a day. sort of thing. And I know that you guys had always saw me as that girl who was at Primal, who was doing all the classes and things, and I was like, oh no, I'm nothing like that. I find it really hard to exercise. I'll eat whatever I want to eat. So for me there, it was kind of being vulnerable as opposed to being confident. I probably came across as confident before, but I definitely wasn't. But it was opening myself up to be vulnerable to people that kind of know. And myself being a personal trainer and a yoga teacher, like I should have my shit together, but none of us do really. And I like to admit that actually I'm not confident. I might know to an extent what I'm doing, but I don't know everything. And that I actually need some help. I can't do this on my own. So that was my biggest sort of thing. I mean, I kind of kept it a little bit of a secret from my partner because I didn't want him to know that, yes, I've spent all this money on all these qualifications and I coach people on a daily basis, but I actually need a coach myself. I didn't think he'd understand that. So they were kind of my barriers. Money, not so much, because myself being a trainer, I know how important it is to invest in things that are going to help you feel better. So yeah, it was literally just opening myself up and just putting my hands up and being like, guys, I need help. But I did it, and it was the best thing I did, and I'd do it again.
Awesome. There's a really good bit in one of Russell Brand's book, one of his books called Recovery, which is where he kind of goes through his own 12 steps. I think the first 3 are something like, are you fucked up? Do you not want to be fucked up? Are you going to let someone help? Can you unfuck yourself? And, and the whole point is you have to embrace that, you can't do it. And it's, I've got a couple of coaches in different areas across my life. And I think that once you open yourself up in kind of one area, as you go, actually, I'd quite like to get better at this and this. And these people can help me because they've done it, so I can do it too. And it's, once you get into that mindset, I think you're able to achieve so much more.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's just, like you said, opening yourself up and accepting that you might not be good at certain areas and that you just need that extra little bit of support. And that's what I definitely got from you guys, was the support and the help that I really, really needed.
Awesome. Right. Last question. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. If you were to give other people struggling one piece of advice, what would you recommend they do? This isn't to say sign up with Sustain. I want to know what your tactics are.
Be honest with yourself, because you fell off my seat then, sorry. Be honest, say my seat, my little bolster. Be honest with yourself. Like you said before, you might say, all right, I'm not losing weight, but I eat perfectly. And it's like, okay, if you're not losing weight, then there must be something in your life that you're not doing right, be it you're not eating perfectly, or maybe you're not exercising as much as you should be, or you've got too much stress in your life. And it's being honest, looking at things and saying, maybe I'm eating too much this, or maybe I need somebody else to help me look at where I'm going wrong, and assessing if one, losing weight is going to make you happier, and 2, if you're being honest with yourself, what's realistic. So don't sign up to any sort of coaching and be like, right, by the end of this 6 weeks or this 8 weeks, I'm going to be transformed and I'm going to be 5-6 stone lighter, a size 6, this, that, and the other. It's not realistic. You're not being honest. And if you've got a coach that's saying to you, in 8 weeks' time I can make you do that, no. Again, be honest. Look at it and walk away. So that was a bit muffled, but
spot on. Really good.
Yeah, one piece of advice: be honest. Because I thought, again, before I came to you guys, before I actually sat down and assessed, like, I need a little bit of help, I was a bit like, well, I'm vegan, I eat well, I don't drink Monday to Friday, I might have a couple on, I don't drink that much when I do drink, I don't snack that much, I don't eat cake or anything like that. And it was actually like, well, actually I have 2 or 3 drinks on a Friday night, and then I'll have a bottle of wine, and whilst I'm doing that, I'll have a couple of crisps, a couple of olives, then we'll have bread and pasta, and before you know it, your Friday, Saturday, Sundays outbalances your Monday to Thursday. And I wasn't being honest with myself in that way. I was just thinking, oh, there must be something wrong with my body. I mustn't be exercising enough, or maybe I'm eating too many nuts. And it was like, no, it's definitely all the wine and the crisps and the pasta. Well, not the pasta, but the amounts of it. So yeah, be honest. Awesome.
Thank you very much for your time, and just well done. You've just done such a good job. I'm just so proud of how well you've done.
Thank you.
It's really nice doing this because it's a bit of like a trip down memory lane for me, and remembering kind of the obstacles that you overcame on the way. And when you said about the drinking and boring, like, it made me smile straight away, because I was just thinking, I remember that, and I remember some of the coaching that we did, and it's just well done.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have got here without you. It's been such a help. I mean, I've been on multiple holidays and got through Christmas and everything, and I've not felt like I've had to start again when I've come back, which has been a real relief. And yeah, I just finally feel that I'm not controlled by food, thoughts of food, dieting, and it's just nice to be free. So thank you.
Very welcome. Right. Thank you very much.